What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, it's about time we talk about some good news in the gaming industry. And honestly, there's about two good stories today. We're going to cover both of them on the channel. Wanted to start with Toys for Bob, and really, in my opinion, the tease for Spyro 4. I mean, look, we've said that many, many times, but to be honest with you, this is probably the most direct, I think, statement regarding Spyro. I mean, it's not like saying Spyro out loud. It's the closest that we've ever gotten. And it's also some fantastic news for Toys for Bob just in general, and it's that they're going indie, they're going independent. They've left Activision, they've left Microsoft, and I'm truly, truly happy for them. And honestly, it makes all of the stuff that's happened over the last little while, it makes it make more sense, I guess, right? So they're kind of cutting the team in half, kind of starting over in that sense, but hey, once they start ramping up and getting ready for their next game, which they actually mentioned directly in the blog post that they are working on their next game, it's in early development, so they're not ready to do much with it yet. I would imagine as things keep going, they would hire people, not necessarily back, but they would hire, to get the team back up to what it was and go from there. So I want to read their blog post. It's pretty short, but again, it's sweet, and we'll talk about that Spyro tease. So we're thrilled to announce that Toys for Bob is spinning off as an independent game development studio. Over the years, we've inspired love, joy, and laughter for the inner child in all gamers. We pioneered new IP and hardware technologies in Skylanders. We raised the bar for best in-class remasters in Spyro Reignited. We've taken Crash Bandicoot to innovative, critically acclaimed new heights. With the same enthusiasm and passion, we believe that now is the time to take the studio and our future games to the next level. This opportunity allows us to return to our roots of being a small and nimble studio. To make this news even more exciting, we're exploring a possible partnership between our new studio and Microsoft. And while we're in the early days of developing our next new game and a ways away from making any announcements, our team is excited to develop new stories, new characters, and new gameplay experiences. Our friends at Activision and Microsoft have been extremely supportive of our new direction, and we're confident that we'll be able to continue to work closely together as part of our future. So keep your horns on and your eyes out for more news. Thank you to our community of players for always supporting us through our journey. We can't wait to share updates on our new adventure as an indie studio. So the horn thing is directly from Spyro. Why you would say that is beyond me unless you're teasing Spyro. Now, again, I think we have to say it just in case, right, for all of these times that we've talked about it. It could be nothing. It could not happen. To be honest with you, I am fully, and this could be very bad, but it's honestly what I've chosen to, I chose to do it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I get disappointed, I get disappointed. But I really don't see how this isn't a tease for Spyro, and I'll tell you why. It's actually even beyond that line. So again, you don't put that line in, which is directly from Spyro if you're not, doing something about it. But number two, you're leaving, right? So you're ditching Microsoft, and which, by the way, great idea. And not because I'm all against like Microsoft as an entity or anything, but as we've seen over the past, it's really because of this. As we've seen over the past couple days, it's getting bloody out there. Honestly, it's getting really, really bad, and it's kind of getting depressing and getting to a point where you need this kind of thing to happen every now and then just to kind of lighten the mood. So them being on their own, it's more risk, right? But at the same time, is it? Because I believe as part of Activision, part of Microsoft, part of PlayStation, part of EA, all of these studios, if you make one failure of a game, you're done. I believe that for like 80% of teams out there, that they're on like a one and done basis, which is terrible. And you could say, well, hey, if you're on your own, you are truly one and done. If you make one bad mistake or one bad game, your entire studio is done. Well, yeah, but you would think you'd have more protection if you worked, say, for Activision. I don't really feel like that's true. Maybe it is because they did make Team Rumble. Team Rumble, by all accounts, I don't think did well, like at all. So, yeah, they survived. They did lose half the team. Now, again, did they lose half the team because Team Rumble kind of failed, or did they lose half the team because they, again, were changing direction of their studio and that kind of needed to happen? Could have been a mix. Right? But the one thing that stands out to me that it is Spyro is they're working with Microsoft. Why would you need to work? Well, okay, there could be reasons, right? You could do like a Game Pass thing, and you could just, maybe they would be your publisher. As an independent developer, you still need a publisher, so Microsoft maybe can still publish the game. I'm sure they'll have to reach out, for that. But why else would you need to talk to Microsoft? they own Spyro, they own Crash. So if you're going to do more things with Spyro, you're going to need to go to the source, right? So Toys for Bob doesn't have that. Now, they shouted it out, right? Like they went through their development studio history of what they did, but they don't own Spyro the Dragon, they don't own Crash Bandicoot, right? That's not theirs. So I believe that they would still be working with Microsoft and, to partner kind of for their next game, closely work with Microsoft, right? Again, why would you do that? Because it's a Spyro game. That's true. Now, it could also be on Game Pass. It could be published by Microsoft. There could be more layers to Microsoft's involvement with them. But I think to start, it's because they need, the licensing or whatever it might be. They need that for Spyro. So that's what I think. Again, like, could I be lining myself up for a disappointment? Yeah, but you know what? Spyro fans been doing that for like actually since Reignited Trilogy came out, so around 5 years, right? So I'm fine with it. One other thing I want to throw in, this is negative news, and I actually will probably do a whole video on Crash Team Rumble in and of itself. It's pretty much done. Now, they announced, I believe, March 4th. So at the end of this season, people thought, well, they aren't really talking about the next season, or season 4, so what's going on with it? Well, they announced it's over. So no new updates past, I believe, March 4th. There will be one more wave of updates. Everything basically is free. The cosmetics, the battle pass is completely kind of unlocked, and that's pretty like par for the course of what we've seen with a lot of these games. Once they're done, once they've sunsetted them, right, everything opens up. There is no paying for it. Everything's kind of free in that sense, and then the game slowly, goes away. Now, they're keeping it online, right? So that's good. So the game's not, and it's tough. It's like what your definition of dead is, or like when they leave a game. They have left it. Like they're about to leave the game dead in the water. Now, is the game literally dead? No, it actually, the servers are still online. You can still get the game. So technically, we're like one step away from like the delisting phase and the servers being shut off, which basically stops the whole game from running, right? We're one step away from that. Not ideal, especially less than a year after the game came out. But honestly, now, I mean, like, that is a negative. That's a huge negative, and it really goes back to the live service talk that we always have on the channel. But at the same time, like, I get it, and especially with the direction they're going, they probably can't do two things at once. Team Rumble is probably attached to, like, their connections with Activision, so you might not even be able to work on it. So, like, I get it. I would absolutely consider Team Rumble a failure. And I don't say that, I mean, if you've watched the channel long enough, you know my opinion on Team Rumble. I don't say that as a huge criticism. I love the game. And for the entire last, 9 months, I've been saying this is maybe one of the better games that nobody played. This is a game that I think is actually genuinely good, really works, and I can't believe it because generally I'm opposed to these kind of things, but it's really fun. I love it. It was one of my favorite games of last year. It's just, I'm comfortable in saying that the game was a complete failure. There were bots on day one. There were not enough people to fill full lobbies at the beginning, and 9 months later, however long it's been, right? Obviously the game is even less popular now than it was when it came out, and it wasn't really all that popular then. So I say it from a place of like respect, where I'm happy with the game. I think they did a really good job with it, and it's shockingly really good. But I absolutely would call it a failure. If you ditch a game 9 months in, that's not long enough, in my opinion, to, when you make these kind of games, you want it to be around for years. And I don't really care the reasoning why you ditch it. If you ditch it this early, I would consider a failure. So I just want to kind of throw that one out there because I do like Team Rumble, and I'll probably do a dedicated video on it either for the 1 year or just to kind of talk about the game itself as we're, kind of sunsetting it off, right? So let me know what you think. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on. I hope to see you all on the next one.